Hey there, I'm Mr. Terry, a high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. All right, I'm super excited about today's video because I get to check out the newest movie trailer for Oppenheimer. Now, I'm very late to checking this out. I've known that this movie was going to be coming out. We're about a week away from the actual release of the movie. And what I wanted to do today is kind of twofold. First thing I wanted to do is check out the most recent trailer that the studio has put out. But in looking for the most recent trailer, I also saw from the production company Universal that about 3 days ago, they posted a video. It's a couple minutes longer than the trailer. And when I was looking at that, in the description of the video, it said that it was some clips and stuff put together by the actual editor of the movie with a little bit more, I think, context or a little bit of depth, maybe a little bit more about the story. And what I wanted to do today was actually check out both. So we'll check out the trailer and then this opening look video that goes along with it. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so here is the trailer. It's 3 minutes long. Since we're watching two things, I'll try not to like chime in with every thought that comes into my head as I, check out this trailer. But, I'll point out things, of course. But there's definitely a lot of things I know I'm going to want to talk about, especially if they're not really covered or just other things you might be interested in. Depends on what I see here in the trailer, because Oppenheimer is a very interesting character, and his life before, during, and after is also quite dramatic, actually. Anyway, we'll get to that later. Let's check out the trailer. Universal Studios going to make a ride for Oppenheimer. That's the test site, New Mexico. Oh, how scary would the test have been to be a part of that? I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Christopher Nolan was, oh yeah, I did hear that. Christopher Nolan, I mean, he's such a good director. I love Christopher Nolan.
We're in a race against the Nazis.
They were, yep.
And I know what it means.
Germans are going into it. They're looking for it.
Have a bomb.
The Russians, it's a race to the bomb. Oh, Matt Damon, heck yeah.
Possibly know that.
Main actor, Killian, is that his name? I forgot his name. He's fantastic.
All America's industrial might and scientific innovation connected here.
True.
A secret laboratory. Keep everyone there until it's done.
Protect the secrets.
Let's go recruit some scientists.
Which, if you know, those secrets get out about the bomb.
Build a town, build it fast. If we don't let scientists bring their families, we'll never get the best.
Yeah.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere for
secrecy?
Who knows how long?
Secrecy. You know what? That statement I know might sound kind of ignorant but it does show something that was part of the project, which was, the secrecy of it. And a lot of people worked on it. It wasn't just a room full of dudes that worked on the whole Manhattan project, or part of the whole Manhattan Project. And what I think that line might be able to explain a little bit or show you is that with so many people working on it and to try to keep the secrecy down, the people that worked on this project were only given information about the project that was basically relevant for their specific task. It was a need-to-know basis, right? They don't want to give you any extra knowledge about what the final product was going to be. So yeah, there were people working on this that didn't even know what they were really working on.
Why? Why? How about because this is the most important thing that ever happened in the history of the world?
Kind of true. Was it Einstein?
You're the great improviser.
Oh, I hope Einstein they get in. He helped on the project.
In the history of the world.
Look how good they made him.
You're the great
Sick.
improviser, but this
Just got masking tape on it.
you can't do in your head.
Are we saying there's a chance
All the doubters.
that when we push that button, we destroy the world? Chances are near zero. Near zero.
Yeah.
Be one from theory alone. Zero would be nice.
First test. What he's talking about, that was actually a real fear. Now, I think the really high level physicists like Oppenheimer knew that wasn't going to happen. And if Matt Damon was saying that there was a fear that when that bomb would ignite, it would cause chain reactions, because atomic bomb, you're splitting an atom, and that splitting an atom would create a chain reaction of other atoms like splitting, thus creating a chain reaction of atom splitting, destroying the whole planet. The whole planet, right? And I guess anything else, any other atoms that could potentially come in contact with it. Of course, that didn't happen. The world would be destroyed. But just think about if you weren't 100% confident, even if you were pretty confident, You can't tell me there wouldn't be some fear there. How could there not be? There's the test.
This is a matter of life and death.
We'll put it on a tower there.
Perform this miracle.
That's how they detonated it. Put it up high in a tower at the...
World War II would be over. Our boys would come home.
Yep, that was the race.
It's happening, isn't it?
Be hard to keep that from your close family members.
But remember this day. Our work here will ensure a peace mankind has never seen.
I don't know about that.
Somebody builds a bigger one.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves. And the world is not prepared.
Never can be. How could it ever be? Oh, did you see that? Hold on. I think it's important to note this.
Destroy themselves.
We'll see how much this comes into the
The
video.
world is not prepared.
Catch this on the map. Okay, so on the map, dang it, you can see there that they had this map. Okay, right there, Moscow. So you might, if you're looking at that and you're like, what? You know, now a couple things to mention. Of course, this bomb was being produced, you know, throughout the war, right? And the idea was, you know, it was a race because, you know, the Germans and the Russians, of course, will work on it. Now, the Russians, of course, are allies of the United States, but the Americans were very much, you know, aware that there was going to be a conflict with the Soviets after the war. You know, that was, you know, gonna happen, very likely to happen. So yeah, I mean, they're planning on being the future, you know, just the future, not just maybe even just to end the war. But because, you know, it's a race, who can get it first. And like that last guy was saying, it's like, you know, this thing's going to be important to have, but people are going to build bigger bombs and all that. And true though. But this was a potential answer to a lot of conflicts.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Truman needs to know what's next.
2,
Is that already squared?
1.
Is that Robert Downey Jr.? Looks like him. Yeah, President Truman. He just come into the presidency and is like, all right, what's the future? What's the deal with the bomb? So, all right, I definitely got a lot to say about this. I want the next video we're going to check out to, you know, be able to have a chance there to be able to explain things. But there's definitely some important stuff about Oppenheimer and the project that I would love to talk about. So you can think about that while you're going into the film. All right, let's switch over. All right, here's the other video. So again, in the description of this video, it said that the film's editor personally put these set of clips together. So I'm hoping we see some more stuff in it that I think you will find interesting. And they did this just, you know, 3 days ago. So it was, you know, about a week, a little more than a week before the video. So it looks like there's something they wanted to put out as late as possible. Maybe it gives more of the story. So I mean, I didn't really give you like a spoiler alert, but I would think that if there was something that spoils something, I mean, you probably know about the bomb and how it happened. But anyway, warning for that if you don't want to see that. Okay, let's check this out. So again, this is just called Opening Look. Interested to see what if they're putting different things. I mean, it can't just be copy and paste of the trailer, right? It does look like Downey. Is that Downey? I mean, he's so good, but interesting with the black and some of the clips are black and white. I wonder why they did that.
Short notice. I can't believe it. Well, here we are.
It's an atomic test.
The Russians have a bomb. We're supposed to be years ahead of them, but what were you guys doing in Los Alamos?
Oh, does that guy? I wonder who he is. If he's like a senator or something, or who Downey Jr. is. Like, what are you guys doing in there? He didn't know. Because again, a lot of people didn't know. You know, government and everything.
And how many people were in these open discussions?
Too many compartmentalization was supposed to be the protocol.
We were in a race against the Nazis.
Our audio seems a little bit more quiet. Hitler invades Poland.
And now the race is against the Soviets.
Not unless we started.
Robert, they just fired the starting gun.
So, you know, the atomic bomb was tested in July of 45, used in August. That's of course before after the Germans had surrendered. Okay, war ended with them, kind of with Hitler's suicide, end of April, beginning of May was officially over. So the race for, to beat the Germans wasn't really an issue anymore. And then the fact that, the Americans poached so many German scientists and stuff like that for future projects. So it was really, now they still felt it was a race with the Russians. I mean, again, they're an ally, and now we're going to both be going towards Japan hard. But you could see how with this, the Americans felt that, the Soviets were never an ally. They're not like an ally in that way. They're allies because they had a common enemy in Nazi Germany. But they, it looks like are very much thinking that, okay, they're going to defeat Japan, and then the war against the Soviet Union is going to happen, like right away, right? Like Germany surrendering there, and probably even Japan surrendering there, was probably to them, and their thought process is that's not the end of the war. Yeah, it's a little more. It should be a little louder now. So that's good.
What's the nature of the device they detonated?
Data indicates it may have been a plutonium implosion device.
Like the one you built at Los Alamos.
Oh, okay. So they're going after
A secret laboratory. In the middle of nowhere. Keep everyone there until it's done. Why? If we don't let scientists bring their families, we'll never get the best.
Okay.
Build them a town.
Why would I leave my...
a lot of stuff here from the first trailer, but I was interested to see, and I'm interested to see how far they go into Oppenheimer's life, like if they just ended it with the dropping of the bombs on Japan. But it looks like maybe they're taking it a little bit further, so maybe maybe even into the 50s, depending on, again, I have no idea how far they're going to go, because in 1949, that's when the Soviets detonated their bomb. And maybe they're going to bring in the fact that the bomb and the technology of the bomb was infiltrated and made it back to the Russians. It really was that, and it's that struck a lot of anxiety to the Americans, because this was one of the most secretive projects like the government had done, and to have that infiltrated enough that the information could go back to the Soviets and they could develop a bomb pretty quickly was probably, again, something of a lot of anxiety. And it's probably, it's going to fuel the whole McCarthyism and second Red Scare that's about to happen here afterwards. So yeah, that's looks like they are taking it a little bit further there. Good. I hope they do give the post life of Oppenheimer, especially, and I'm going to let the video do this, but there's something about his life too that is important to know about his life after the war. And if this clip doesn't show it, or I don't get a chance to stop, hopefully I remember to bring that up.
My family.
I told you, you can bring your family.
I'm not a soldier, Oppie.
A soldier? He's a general. I've got all the soldier I need. What can I tell them?
As much as you like, so you feel my boot on your balls.
You know isotopes, and you know explosives.
But you can't tell us what you're doing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the need to know basis.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere?
Just put it together.
Who knows how long?
For a year or 2 or 3. It's about unleashing a strong force.
Gonna live on site. Oh, look at him
Before the
building.
Nazis do.
Oh my God.
How about because this is the most important thing that ever happened in the history of the world?
That's what they were saying at the beginning of the war. We got to get this before the Germans do. It was a race.
Everybody will go crazy.
They built a town out of nothing for secrecy and safety.
They won't let me leave.
I won't let you leave.
He had a very complicated relationships with the women in his life. He had cheated on a couple back and forth with some. There's a lot of drama with that actually the government tried to use against him, which I'll try to get into more later about how the government viewed Oppenheimer. I don't know. We'll see what they give the love life.
It's happening, isn't it?
They got to bring it up because it's dramatic in itself. Going back to his teaching days and stuff.
I don't know.
The masking tape.
Trust it. It's such a weapon. But I know the Nazis can't.
Sorry about some of the low speaking. I literally have it all the way up.
Anything. Even yourself.
Hitler's dead, but the Japanese fight on.
Yep, true.
Nobody knows what you believe. Do you?
There were rumors of espionage
Unsubstantiated.
at Los
There's no
Alamos.
proof there was a spy at Los Alamos.
There was. Or at the very least, people there ended up talking. And they brought in his
judgment was sound on who on the team could be trusted.
No one is leaving Los Alamos.
What are you doing?
I'll tell you a reason why he was distrusted too, if they don't hear in a second. They didn't mix the audio very well. Again, I'm sorry. Because now it's really loud, like for me too.
Well, we had a moment where it looked like the chain reaction from an atomic device might never stop.
Are we saying there's a
Yeah, okay, okay.
chance that when we push that button,
He's acknowledging it.
we destroy the world?
Chances are near zero.
Near zero.
What do you want for theory alone?
Zero would be nice.
Yeah. They did bring up that whole thing, even Oppenheimer talking about the chain reaction of atomic explosions, basically, and splitting of atoms, like an actual fear that could destroy the world. Yeah, I wonder why the black and white stuff. Are those memories, you think, of why it goes black and white on some of the things and then color? Tower, told you to set it up on that tower. Yeah, Einstein. Robert Downey made him look pretty old. I mean, he's getting old.
Would the Japanese surrender if they knew what was coming?
Hold on, let me make sure.
If they knew what was coming.
Something I want to say if that's what I thought he
Would the
did.
Japanese surrender if they knew what was coming?
Big criticism there. Yep. Okay. It's gonna go on here, but I think this is a good time to interject. Well, it's got like 10 seconds left. Okay. Go back in 1 week. Yeah, about a week from when I'm watching this. So go back to what this guy was saying right there. So this guy just said, if you caught that, he said, would the Japanese surrender if they knew about Los Alamos, or I forget what he said. If he knew about, I'm hoping he means like about the atomic bomb. That is an interesting point that a lot of people that criticize how the atomic bomb was used, what they used to talk about is that no one really knew, right, outside of after the test and with the test, like other countries and stuff, what the destructiveness of this weapon was. And some people have said, should there have been public demonstration or, I don't know, press or something there, whatever it is, to show the world and I guess intimidate the world, but to know about this, right? So like the Japanese not knowing that a bomb like this could exist, would that then have led them to surrender without the Americans actually having to use them? Right. And that's a thing, again, I've seen brought up a lot. I used to study the historiography of the decision to use the atomic bomb. And that's something that has been brought up, a lot. And I think has gained more steam and more like, I don't know if credibility is the right word, but just, becoming a real thing that people maybe were upset about that could have avoided the killing of so many thousands of people with the bombs. But yeah. All right. The other points I wanted to make about this that I think could be interesting for you going into the video, depending on how much they talk about it. Now, you did see, back here, they were so, apprehensive about loyalties and all that kind of stuff, right? And espionage and all that. The FBI and a lot of government officials never trusted Oppenheimer, even before this. Big reason why. The guy was basically a communist. He, going back to, again, these pre-war days and being at UC Berkeley and stuff, was somebody that was involved a lot in things that people were labeling communism. It was, a lot of like labor issues, and stuff like that. And he would be involved, I guess, with groups, and he would date these women in college that were, part of, the Communist Party of the United States and stuff like that. Now, so he was very much about that with the social issues and stuff that, again, you just was branded as communist. However, he never officially, I guess, joined the Communist Party, but he shared a lot of the sympathies, a lot of the same sympathies that the actual Communist Party did. And so he again was mistrusted, but basically they kind of put that aside because of how important he was to the project, even going in, how important he was. They kind of would push that aside, but he was heavily watched by the FBI and again the government in general. And then, you know, of course, after the war, after the war is over, he was basically like put on trial and stuff for this stuff. And, you know, he tried to dance around the question a bit, but he absolutely had, you know, a lot of communist sympathies and a lot of beliefs that would have been shared with that. Again, he always said that he wasn't fully a part of that party and he was very loyal to our country and all this stuff. But he basically, after the atomic bomb was used, was thrown under the bus. He really was. And I think it's like 54, early to mid 50s, was basically taken away, like all his credentials. He had no influence in like political life or anything like that afterwards. They silenced him and with the FBI and everything, totally just, again, removed him from all influence. And yeah, he was treated pretty harshly. I mean, I guess in these hearings they would have with the un-American activities, you know, those trials and stuff, they have the un-American Activities Commission that would stand up for him. Like these other scientists would stand up for him and say, you know, he or whatever. And he never like said, you know, like, I'm not a leftist or like, you know, those kind of things. But so many people, I think he would have been railroaded way more if so many scientists hadn't come up and spoken up for him. But nevertheless, he got railroaded by the system and they threw him under the bus, and you didn't hear much from him after that. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that got put in there. And it looks like I just saw hints of that probably coming up into the video or in the movie. So I was hoping that they would cover that to make sure they also talk about what happens to Oppenheimer. And you can be your own judge on that if you know about that, about how he should have been treated, if that, you know, mistrust of him, that he would, you know, give away secrets and stuff like that. And if, you know, make your own judgment if you feel, you know, someone with those beliefs should not be a part of such important American military activities and political activities. But nevertheless, that's kind of what happened. So interested to see how they portray that, and I'll have to come back, you know, after and what they portray and double check stuff that did actually happen to him and see how the story is played out. So yeah, I mean, the video does seem to be about Oppenheimer. It's called Oppenheimer, not just, you know, the atomic bomb. So I'm interested to check this out because, again, the guy had a very complicated life. His love life was, they tried to get him on that because he had, you know, cheated on people, and the people that he was involved with, a lot of them that he was with were like very influential, or people that were very deep into the communist activities in the United States, and they really tried to, you know, use that against him. But nevertheless, I mean, he was considered, and, you know, by American standards in the 1940s and 50s, was a leftist, and he paid the price for that after the war. So anyways, let me switch over to the big screen and I'll give you my final thoughts about the movie coming up. All right, if you stuck with me for this long, thank you so much. It must mean that you're interested in this topic and, of course, the film. For me, I'm looking forward to it greatly. I think it's such an important part of history because the world never was the same after those bombs were developed and used. And there's no going back. There's absolutely no going back. Once those bombs existed, we know about the race of making bigger ones and more of them, and the scary nature of how destructive and how numerous these types of weapons are. But again, the world, you know, it will never be the same. And we'll see. I wonder if they go into that famous interview where, you know, he talks about, you know, liken himself to in the story of the Bhagavad Gita, where the god that appears and says, you know, I am death, the destroyer of the worlds. And he quotes that because he was actually very into a lot of that mystical Hindu scripture and stuff like that. I don't know if they'll bring that into it and they'll think that's un-American of him as well. But he also, you know, in that famous interview that he did that you've probably seen before if you haven't looked it up, but saying, you know, he knew that, he said, we knew, you know, when they tested the bomb, the world would never be the same again. And that was very true. And yeah, he had to carry that the rest of his life. And how could you revel in that, you know? All right. Anyways, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the movie. I'm definitely going to go see it. So I'm super excited about that. By the way, if you're into more movie trailer reactions, I just did one on the upcoming Napoleon movie. So I'll link that here as the video is ending up. And by the way, if you want me to see me do more movie trailers, I mean, it's not like we get a lot of these great historical movies all the time, but if these are something you'd like to see me react to and give my opinions on, I'm totally down for it. I love movie trailers and all that stuff. Let me know down in the comments. But again, thanks for sticking me with this for this long, and we'll see you next time. Bye.